Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 414th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, January 6, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today, along with Dean at the KFTV studio. And of course, we are joined with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who, as per usual in these weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops, will deliver today's teaching and information. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to go today?
Yes. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute at this moment of time, from the nation of Austria, from the nation of human race, and always one planet. We welcome you to the new year in the Christian calendar, and we know and we hope it will be one of the best years human race has ever seen. In a way, the big change, the change which mankind has been waiting for, will be fulfilled this year, one way or another, in different strengths, in different dimensions, and different ways through the dimension of physicality or the soul of the man. Many of you as knowledge seekers and others will be enlightened to a new dimension. We will understand more, and many of us will change our lives because of it, for it, and through it. It becomes the basis for the foundation of a new race of human race on this planet and throughout the universe. This will be the year when the man will take the first stride to become in total part of universal community. Become part of what it will see to become his elevation of his soul, elevation of his own physicality, to understand both. To understand what to do with it and how to do with it. Become the soul alone without attachment of the physicality, or become in a dimension that physicality and the soul will travel together. One is what we call the point of death, and one becomes becoming passengers of the universe. What is real, what is not real, it'll become one of the biggest problems for the human race in space. In the world of physics, in the world of understanding, reflection, and manifestation of the physicality, to the side of the man, those who choose the path of the physical dimensional transportation, what can rely to be real and what becomes to be mirage. What is a reflection and what is the truth? The soul you see is the real soul in front of you. The physicality you see is the real physical dimension to you, or is it a reflection, a mirage? We have to understand that to keep a plasma moving, plasmas usually take a spherical shape, the sun, or a slightly flatter shape due to compression of the fields of the universe, a disk, but it's still a plasma. And there is an inherent problem with this shape, that man has understood it partially in the dimension of the physics of the matter state, but now he has to understand the same exists in the dimension of the what we call fields of the universe. When you have a spherical, shining, transparent bulb like a plasma, are you in it or are you outside it? What you see if you are in it is real, or what you see is a mirage? Is the dimension you see a real entity, or what you see outside exist? Does one inside another create the same problem? What does this mean? Many of you have been through the physics. Many of you have understood the physics, the concave and convex mirrors. Now you have transportation, dynamic what we call fields, which create that effect of the mirror, is not solid. But the O2 is transition and rotation creates reflection. Then it comes a question for man to answer in the wrong way. When we travel the depth of the space, when we convert or we decide the physicality of the environment, is that environment real? Or is it a mirage that we have come to see, to feel, to understand? Reflection of the galaxies and the other position in the universe due to reflection of the light of the, what we call the galaxy itself within the dynamic spheric shape of the universe. Then we come to understand many of the things we see in the physical eye are not real, they are mirage. What do we do? Do you manifest yourself
excuse me.
There is nothing but you think it's a planet.
We're
What
getting
happens? How do you change? How does your soul convert itself? Yeah.
Beginning some dropping out, Mr. Kesh. I'm losing a few of your words there. It sounds like a bandwidth thing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly. Thank you.
Clear. Okay, we switched on the system. Then it comes to understand, how do we manifest ourselves? Do we manifest ourselves in a dimension of the reality, or do we manifest ourselves in a dimension of upside down, where we call it another cycle, where the reality doesn't exist, but it's a mirage? Mankind will have a lot of problem with this process. Mankind will come to suffer heavily if it does not understand. How do you transfer, even if you land in the right space and dimension and the field, which has no matter dimension, but is the plasma of the fields of the existence, and you want to convert your energy into manifestation of physicality? How do you do it? How do we convert our souls when we transport ourselves within a system from one system to another? When I transport you through the new transportation system, I transport you through the dimension of the soul of the man, not the physicality of the man. I don't look for every cell what it's going to be, what energy will have. I transport you through the soul. And the soul of the man in the dimension of the arrival at the point of manifestation has to be able to convert itself to the fields of the strength of the matter state on the condition, or physical plasma state, on the condition of point of manifestation. Then mankind comes to understand it needs a new understanding. It needs a new conversion. It needs to understand how to convert a mass of fields, a mass of energy, tangible or visible. You arrive to a point, you meet with another plasma, which is alive, is a living thing. How do you manifest yourself to it? It has no eyes, but it wants to feel you. It wants to understand who you are. You want to understand who it is. How do you change the field of the plasma of the soul of the man in the dimension of the detection and manifestation and confirmation in a physical dimension at the point of manifestation to the other soul? Then mankind needs to understand why we, in so many times, we refer to the inertia. Inertia of the point of the manifestation. Inertia of the point of the change and conversion to the strength of. Then you understand why we so many time in the past emphasize on understanding this. Even in the teachings of the matter state, we always said creation of the plasma in the upper atmosphere of the earth when it comes in touch with the inertia of the matter state, converts to that matter on this planet. Now man needs to understand this. How does he convert part of the strength of his own soul to become his inertia detector, inertia conversion rate? And this is where the soul of the man will manifest itself both in the dimension of the soul and the dimension of the physicality, where the soul of the physicality exists within the dimension of the soul of the man. You cannot be fixed ratio, fixed what they call a strength of inertia. Your inertia, your fixed inertia on earth will not work in another dimension. You need the inertia of the point of dimension of manifestation. Then we understand more how in the new flight system, even our flight system has to be dynamic to be able to manifest itself, to hold itself in both dimensions of the physicality and the soul. For the first time, the systems we develop for the deeper space travel will carry the soul of their own, which allows them never to be converted, never to be destroyed, does not matter what field of strength they travel through. Then you understand when we said at the very beginning of the teaching some years ago, we trust a soul in the hand of the captain that will deliver us at the point of where we want to be in the dimension of physicality. We give our souls to it, and then it protects it, and at the point of manifestation and delivery, we release it to be there. That soul is the soul of the craft. That soul is the soul of the entity within, which many of us will choose to travel with. It does not matter what the state of inertia, in which point and what strength, the soul of the craft, the soul of the man, which is a craft itself, travels. We see the soul of a craft to be responsible for what may be chairs and tables, we call it, or a dimension of existence to feed. Your soul is again a captain for every cell of your body, which has accepted responsibility of to look after every cell, to look after every point of existence, manifestation of the physicality within the body of the man. So when we look at the physicality of the man and the soul of the man, we look at another universal dimension, another universal entity, another existence. And this is where mankind has to understand with the new systems we are introducing and bringing out this year, and you will see it in Arizona, in Tehran, or in Austria. We consider both dimensions. That every system not only carries the matter state strength field of inertia, but has to carry the soul of the craft, has to carry the soul of the passengers of the craft, and deliver the man at the point of manifestation. I don't take you in the physical dimension from Beijing and deliver you in New York a minute later. Then you say, what happened with the negative G? What's going to happen with the higher speed? It does not exist. This is the old physics. This is what man had in the matter state. The dimension of the new understanding and the way we are preparing you to become man of universe is to understand that there is another way. There is a knowledge beyond the knowledge of matter state and physicality of the man. In a new flight system, we transport thousands of you in these small aircrafts because we let you come in. You walk in and you become the soul. We deliver you as a soul to New York, to Tehran, to Beijing, on the moon or universe in the same system, in the same flight matter. On the flight path, you could be anywhere. The soul of the craft will take you and delivers the soul. And then you decide if you're in New York, you want to be blue eye, white skin, or black skin and brown eyes, or be the shape of the man on the moon or the Mars or the planet. But the craft is the same craft. The new enhancement unit, which is brought in and will be delivered to Arizona, Austria, and Tehran in the coming weeks, is the new cycle of knowledge, even for the universal community. Is understanding of the elevation of the soul of the universe and not the man. The new systems Do not carry what man always thought. I put an ice cream in a box and I open the box, I receive ice cream in another position. The shape and the taste of the ice cream on the point of arrival depends on the man who uses it and what taste he wants that ice cream to be and what shape he will have, not the shape you put in the packaging. Mankind has to become to understand the point of transportation and transmutation of the man and the human race has changed. And in the coming months and the coming weeks, we'll emphasize and we deliver. Many are waiting for us to deliver financial support to build the centers. We'll build these centers in the soul of the man, those who are devoted, and those who have served what we call the humanity. Then you understand. Then it comes to be understood that the soul of the man has already have its pioneers among the knowledge seekers and those who serve the humanity already in space and position. Does not matter if you're in the dimension of physicality of the earth or you have your soul or your ancestor souls have chosen a position across the universe. Mankind will understand. Mankind soon will understand what it meant by the birth of Mitra in the dimension of physicality and the dimension of the soul of the man. Mankind will come to understand that from now on, he is and will be in charge of his soul and not the dimension of physicality, where the physicality will take shape according to position, manifestation, and time. Creating passports and creating birth certificate will have no meaning as you manifest in New York as a black man with the brown eyes, and you were born in China with whatever color of the skin, yellow and blue eyes or green eyes or brown eyes. Then we understand there is a need and a process that will come to the teaching that the identity of you is the identity of your soul, the way it has been and always shall be. The strength of the soul, the dimension of a serving, what we call the race of the universe, not the man only. As if we become only serving the man, we become back in the same trap of this village of the earth, binded and imprisoned to one dimension and one place and one position. This was the station of the prophet of the past. And now he has opened up for the man to understand the totality of the process of the growth of the soul of the creation of the man in the dimension of the universe will become easier to be understood. One of the biggest problems those who travel with the new flight systems will be to understand the strength of the soul of the inertia of their body according to the environment of the manifestation. You do not want to appear in the North Pole with swimwear and in the middle of the desert with a fair skin or a fair coat. This is what the new knowledge will be. The cycle of man in the teaching of this year is to bring man to the point of understanding how he manifests himself, how he transmutes himself in both dimensions and both the strength. The clarity of the thoughts, the clarity of the understanding, the position and the strength of the soul of the man in all dimensions. To understanding what is the real point of manifestation, or am I manifesting myself in the middle of nowhere thinking I am somewhere? In a dimension of understanding, mankind will become to understand, to measure the strength of the fields of the inertia at the point of manifestation. That this will give the man a chance to understand if the position is real or is imaginary or is just by the vision of the man. What we call convex and what we call concave manifestation of the images to be real or to be imaginary or virtual is part of the work of the universe. Then mankind will come to understand one point. Most of the stars, most of the galaxies that we look at in the depths of the space is nothing but the mirage. Where we as human race and other races have come to observe, as we were looking at the reflexes of what we call conjectories of the fields of the strength of the interaction of the fields of the universe and the time and the position. This gives you an amazing power of the knowledge. This gives you an amazing, what we call strength in understanding the power of the man. Which means if you get it the right strength, if you get it to the right inertia strength, that it can be in parallel and the strength of the universe or universe or galaxy or the planet, you can manifest yourself at different points at the same time. But which one will be the real one? And which one will be the imaginary and the mirage? And how would you distinguish between the imaginary and the mirage? Are you talking to the real thing, or are you talking and receiving energy through the mirage? But with the mirage, strength will be convey of the energy of the reality. All these has to be unraveled, understood, and deciphered by the present man knowledge. Because you will not have the eye to see, but the eye of the strength of the soul of the man has to observe, understand, digest, decipher, and then decide if I'm going to accept this mirage as a reality. And is that reality to me? Now, you understand that we really are entering the dimension of the space travel, really entering the dimension of understanding. We are really entering in the process of gathering the knowledge of the universe, where very few will understand, and then trying to keep those souls, what I call the feet on the ground, and not make them to claim themselves to be everything else. To be humble to teach, to be humble, to be part of the change, not only on this planet, but across the universe and universe. What is the understanding of the man? Now that he knows, he'll be traveling in a dimension of his soul. He will not be traveling the way that today's flights and systems are, creating compression in the jetliners and putting man in what we call the monkey suit to send him to the moon and Mars. This is why you do not need any clothing or any kind of protection to travel among and through the universes and through different dimensions. As now, the protection of the man is the strength of his soul, where the soul decides at the point of manifestation to what the strength of inertia to manifest itself. Do not forget, you can still manifest yourself in the shape of the man in another galaxy, but as a mirage of the man. But in fact, in the dimension of physicality, you will take the shape of the time, the point, and the presence of the dimension. Then the people who are aware of your existence will see your dimension of physicality. But in the dimension of mirage of the soul, they understand you are from planet Earth. Many of you, when you become educated in this, you will understand that many of those who are amongst us are not from this planet. And you will start to recognize them. You understand to see them. You understand to be able to appreciate their beauty, where in the dimension of the physicality of this man, you will see them as a man. But in essence, when you understand this process, you see the real shape, that who they are, where they are, and which planet or universe they come from. Remember, I explained this some times ago about the men we met in a shopping center in Accra, where they came and they realized I recognized them, and they tried to disappear in the gap between the lift and the stairs. Because we see them, we recognize them, we understand both dimensions that exist, and this will be the future of the man. When you see another creature in their dimension, but to those of your own dimension, you still have the same image of the soul, an image of the physicality of the man in the dimension of the time and the position. This is not becoming a chameleon, but this is becoming like wearing the frock. Want to be able to live in the environment and want to be the man inside the frock, that the others can see you're a man. These are part of the process that in the coming time, by using the enhancement unit flight system, many of you will face. You might even get a passenger from another dimension in the flight, and then you'll see what I see. But there's one thing in short. Those who have taken position and time and space on this planet from other dimensions are peaceful. So we have no fear of their existence. We have no fear of them being amongst us. And we have no fear of understanding that they understood the totality of the peaceful nature of the universe. This is what a lot of us will talk to the others. I've seen this and that, but they can't see because they were not present. So we do not create conflict. We do not create another dimension. We do not create another position in reference to totality. In the coming time, mankind, as we develop these systems, will see the progress and the development of their own. In the new vision enhancements, we try to teach you to see this before you enter in the dimension of the transportation and transmutation. One of the main reasons that I developed what we call the vision enhancement unit is for you to understand the strength of, to understand the position of your emotion and your soul. When you enter these systems, instantaneously you feel it, and then your soul will adjust to it in a rhythm. Those who have been in it saw it, right, and they confirm it. It touches them instantaneously till the soul builds up the dimension of understanding, the dimension of physicality. You feel it in your heart, and you feel it within the emotion of the brain. And those who have been in it can tell you. Then you understand the new dimension of the transportation and transmutation of man will be different than what we have in the compression jets and what we call in the cars and the rest. Now we transport the soul of the man. The understanding of the strength of the totality, not individuality. That is why in the new flight system there shall be no death, as the death in physical dimension cannot exist as you travel in the dimension of the soul of the man. In a coming time, even what you call as a car transportation will carry the same. Killing by accident and car accidents become a thing of the past, because in the dimension of the physicality of the transporting material, it sits the soul of it. And then you understand two plasmas, two souls can never touch. And if they do, they keep their integrity. These are the changes which to come. And in a coming time, as we open the senses of the knowledge and teaching, will expand. Those who came to test us will test themselves. And those who came to fail us, fail themselves. In a way, mankind from now on will open to a new dimension of both the soul and the physicality. And through the equipments and the systems which we deliver, you get trained, you get to understand, and gradually you become the man who had no skill in driving, and you become drivers. Then this time, you don't need the different certificates and what we call driving licenses for a bicycle, for a car, for a truck, or for an aircraft, as there is only one license, one certificate, and the certificate of the soul of the man to understand how he transmutes itself and how he manifests himself in different dimensions and positions. This will take time. This will take evolution in the science of understanding in the dimension of the world of physicality of the man, and not in the dimension of the soul of the man. This is where we bring the soul of the man within a confinement of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality to be part of. That in that dimension, there is no need except the understanding of the emotion of the soul of the man. Then the soul of physicality becomes that point of reference and where it positions itself in respect to the soul itself within that structure. It dictates what kind of physical understanding and emotional strength that physicality will carry in the dimension of the manifestation of the matter state or manifestation of the vision or observation. This knowledge has been hidden to man. And this knowledge now that man has to transport and transmute itself in the dimension of the soul of man will be taught. And many of you will learn and then will enjoy the beauty of the creation, even at the time of feeding the soul of the man to feed the dimension of physicality that no man shall kill. That's the end of the cycle of destruction for man. Once man goes through understanding and elevation of the systems and technologies, which gradually in the coming year will be revealed and released to man to become part of. In another word, we have come to a new year and a new cycle for mankind. For man to reach the position of understanding what we call the elevation of his own soul. Many of you will be baffled by it, but many of you in the process of coming weeks and months and years will be educated through it, and you will become the passengers of the universe, not in the dimension of physicality of the man. This is the promise we gave by manifestation and the birth of Mitra. And then we have seen the cycle of the man. Tomorrow is another Christmas for the Orthodox Church. And it will be the change for many of you. Many of you will go through the phase of transmutation of the soul from tomorrow. There is a reason for it, and in time will explain why. And we take that process, the step by step, in teaching the human race the next phase of transportation and transmutation. And as we said, it will be done in the 3 centers, which is the Keshe Foundation, due to points of the energy fields of the universe we have chosen. Tehran, Arizona, and Austria. One day will be explained. As I said, when we came to show the manifestation of the fields, we chose Germany, Canada, and Italy. And now we have seen the same. We'll see that the manifestation of the fourth, which is the totality, is part of the star formation. And how and where we position these fields brings us the strength and the dimension. It's not the dimension of the place. Is the dimension of the soul who create that space and place. Then you understand the strength of the soul of people like John. People like Yusuf. And those who in Austria have been instrumental in bringing the change. It is not coincidental. It's chosen a long time ago. Humanity has reached the point of maturity. But how fast this maturity comes to manifest itself, it depends on its citizens, be it the plants, the animal, the stone, or the man. As we will make a man to be a stone and a stone to be a man. If any of you understood the strength and the knowledge of the plasma technology, we made gold out of the energies of the copper, and we'll make a stone out of the soul of the man that has no emotion, no feeling, if the man decides to go the wrong way. Till that soul understands the position of the strength of its existence. Now you understand what has been said. Even the stone has a soul, as we can change the man's soul to be the physical stone as he serves none. And it's best to be at that position until you understand the position and the strength of the savage. I hope today's teaching opens a new dimension for many knowledge seekers and many world leaders, and many of those who sit here to report falsified reports to the world leaders, and those who, through their conduct, have become that what we call phantom soul. Try to understand the teaching of today, and then you have opened a new door, not only to your soul, but to elevating the soul of the others which is amongst you. Then you might, in so many ways, will see many of the passengers of the universe which are amongst you, you've been sharing bed with, or you've been eating at the same table and working in the same office. Don't look at it as a stranger. Respect them, love them, and appreciate the way they have been amongst you to serve you and to be part of the society of the man. Maybe man in 2022 will be enlightened to the truth about the return of Mehdi. Then it depends on the rulers of this world and religious leaders to turn the tide and make the man and this planet a peaceful man and peaceful planet. This is our aim, and we achieve as we have access to soul of all. But we always leave the decisions to be voluntary than enforced. But in time, they will change. It's the year of Mehdi, it's the return of the Messiah, and those who believe in the completion of the cycle of the knowledge of the man. Let them battle it, as we know who will win the battle. In so many ways, understand the process of the creation, you will unravel the secret of creation. And then, with it, understand that the creation is not only the dimension of physicality, but the dimension of the soul of the man. Many of you will turn against yourself, and many of you will work towards that point to understand more. Try to understand the creation of emotion and not to look at the emotion. That's the key to understanding the process of interaction of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man and the creation of inertia, which leads to the creation of the man. How your eye looks, how your face is, what is the color of your hair, and what skin you carry. I like to have the emotion of the beautiful dark brown skin with the green eyes, to be 6 foot tall, and to be there with the beauty of my face, my strength, to serve those who I live amongst. Then you understand, you become the true man. It does not matter on the position of the nation, of the place, position, or the. I hope I have opened a new door for humanity to understand what is to come in the coming year and thereafter, and with it, to create a dimension of manifestation of the presence of the promised one. We go through a break, we come back, and I answer any questions which my soul have. Thank you.